Yeah, just pause order enough. You want to bang something?
All right. The meeting will come to order. Board Secretary? Megan?
I can do this part because it's actually, it's from the proxy, so. Cluster 2 has a quorum of 25 people who responded in person or by proxy, and Cluster 6 has a quorum of 22, above what they needed, so we can move forward.
Okay, so consideration of Article 15 of the declarations for clusters, well, we can take out clusters 3 and 4 here, because they are passive. So clusters 2 and 6, to be amended to add a provision prohibiting leasing of new owners' units for a period of 2 years after the new owner's deed is recorded.
All right, Megan, do you mind making the motion to put that on the table?
Motion to approve?
Yeah, and,
Do you have a second?
yeah, second.
Second.
Thanks, Charlie. Now that vote, this is for cluster 2, that vote failed. In favor were 18 and opposed were 7. We needed 23 to pass it. So cluster 2 did not pass. Now for cluster 6, same motion. To accept it.
To accept it, yep.
Thank you, Fiona.
Second?
Second.
Megan?
Aye.
Did you say yes? Okay,
Yeah.
Megan. Okay, cluster 6 passed. In favor 17, opposed 5.
What is the issue you're
They
talking
needed
about, I'm
17.
sorry? What's the issue?
The thing she just read, the 2-year moratorium. when
I'm
you stop-
renting,
Yep.
that's what we just did. All right, so cluster 6 passed, cluster 2 failed.
Yep,
All right,
and that's it. Motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn the member meeting, or whatever this is. Okay, special membership meeting. All right, I'm not gonna bang the gavel again, because nobody needs to experience that with me. All right.
Megan, you're upside down.
I know, I'm trying to turn it around to everybody else, that's what I was trying to do.
Okay. Let's see here. So one thing to note, we do have, this is obviously an open meeting. Anytime a member is looking to speak, we have a 3-minute time period that you have to speak, and we're also, we want to allow the directors to finish conversation before we open the floor up to residents. So I just wanted to kind of state that at the beginning. Secretary will confirm that all board members have been notified and notice was properly posted on the association property in advance of the meeting. I can confirm that I posted them on Tuesday around 11 a.m.
Tell me when it's got a good view.
Oh, okay, down.
Like
Down.
that?
Yep, perfect. There
All
you
right. Motion to approve Board of Directors meeting minutes from,
Wait,
Oh.
6, that first one needs to be changed to 6:20. I got
Oh.
excited, but we canceled last
6:20.
month. Yeah.
okay, from 6/20/24 and 8/15/2024.
So moved.
Thanks, Charlie.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right.
I'll second.
All right, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, meetings are approved. All right, President's update. I can update you on a couple of things. First of all, we have been continuing with the Brevo Access. I see a lot of faces in the room that I recognize from getting them hooked up. To date, we actually have 51 users in the system. Actually, 50 of those are residents of the community. This evening, I had 10 people come between 4 and 6 to get their access. And we continue, every cluster has at least one person with the mobile pass, so that is, I think that's a great thing. We're gonna continue to do office hours. Fiona has administrator access, so she can work with her residents to get them access, and then I'm going to work with Megan to help her get cluster 2 residents access. And so we're just gonna continue what we've been doing, and we've had a lot of really positive feedback from the residents who have used it, who have tested it out, just feeling that it's been a really great system to use. I don't have any other updates on that. Right?
Okay,
I don't.
that's it. Yep.
All right. Now we've got unfinished business. Update on search for new council. Nancy,
Yeah, we're kind of kicking around a couple of ideas.
might need to speak up a little bit.
We are kind of kicking around some ideas about who to get. We had a question for the board as far as the location of these different people. The council, I know like right now ours, we've got, I believe they're located here, but they are also located in Tallahassee. So what I wanna know is how far out can we go in looking before it becomes totally inconvenient for us?
And his office now is Sarasota, he is Sarasota and Tallahassee.
Yeah. Yeah, so do any of you have any comments on, my opinion is get them the closest we can. Because that way if we need them to come to a meeting, it's a little bit easier to get them here. But, I didn't know for sure if all of you agreed with that, because I've read a lot of really, really good, information from a number of different attorneys on condominium law. But they're not anywhere near here, they're like in Miami, and that's just too far. So if you all agree, then keep them as close as we can, that's what we'll continue to do.
I feel like Sarasota's close enough.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they have an office right around here.
Yeah, okay, that's kinda how we felt about it too. So I wanted to be sure. We are gonna talk to Thompson and Najmi, the former attorneys that we had, for a couple of different reasons. They're large enough, and, they are familiar with us. So that may help some, but I wanna find out too about what their billing hours are, what they charge on an hourly basis. I don't think we should go with the cheapest person we find, only because I think you get what you pay for. And, so we'll keep looking and see what happens. One of our members hasn't been here for a while, but I think he's supposed to be, is Jeff here this week? Is he coming back?
Coming in tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. So then it'll be a lot easier for us to start getting some feedback from him too. But we're still plugging away.
I have a question for you. Do you want this tabled until the next meeting to make a decision, or do you wanna defer it until you're ready to put it back on the agenda?
I would like to defer it until we're ready to put it back on, because by that time, we will have interviewed a few. We're gonna be looking at like 3 or 4.
Okay.
But not more than that. I don't think we need to look at more than that.
Okay, so then just make a motion to defer the issue until the committee
Until-
reports back, and then we'll.
Okay. All right, so I would like.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
So I felt the attorney that we're using for collections did a really great job, up in cluster 5. Does this mean we're gonna not retain that attorney too, or is this
It means
an attorney?
we're looking for a new attorney, Charlie, to be the association's attorney, and that would include everything. But we know we have to have somebody who pays some of those expenses up front that we don't have to. We know what the parameters are as far as the charges. And just because they did a good job on the collections, which I realize in our case is a large piece, doesn't mean they're doing a great job in some of the other ones. I would give my right arm to be able to get DJ as, our assigned counsel. Because I think he's very, responsive, and he does do a very good job, and I believe he's the one who was handling the collections. But for some reason, we're assigned to Anderson, and, I don't know how to get that changed.
Okay, yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify, because my understanding, one of the big reasons for us to prompt us to look for other options is the fact that we were waiting a very long time for our bylaws to be rewritten, and they were not rewritten correctly. They weren't supposed to be changed, it was supposed to be updated so that it was legible and correct, and things were changed that we did not approve or discuss, and so now we're still waiting, I think, for him to fix it, right? I don't know, yeah.
Well, not only are you waiting, it's funny you brought that up, because guess what I got today from accounting? I got the notice that there were some invoices for you to
Oh.
approve. I went to look at them, and one was the charge for that. So I had them remove it and I sent it back and I said,
Yeah.
first off, we don't have a product, and second off, what you said was not right, so, yeah.
Are members allowed to ask questions?
Not yet.
Not yet.
We'll
but
let you know when you
soon.
can, Hank.
Jot it down, so you don't forget, 'cause I forget.
All right, so Nancy, you wanna make the motion then, defer this topic until the committee returns with a recommendation?
Yes, that would be the motion.
Okay.
So somebody wanna?
Second.
Okay.
Thanks, Charlie.
Second.
All right, those in favor say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Nope. All right, motion to defer is heard. Hank, what was your question on the legal piece?
Oh, who, she said that you were assigned a certain person, you'd like to have another person. Who does that assigning?
Well, I don't know, cause I wasn't on the board at the time that they were hired.
Well, I'm talking about now.
The firm.
I would think the
was hired.
firm
Assigned.
assigned.
The firm.
And I would think that the firm is
Yeah.
the one who appointed the actual attorney who was gonna work with our.
This is someone who's independent of CNS?
Correct.
Yes.
It's a
Why
law
do you-
firm.
Yeah.
Frank, why do you hate me? I love you.
It's a law
Listen.
firm. So,
Because you're a pain in the ass. I love you
Well, you know
too.
what? That works both ways,
He's,
Hank.
he's,
Okay.
he's
I
a
know,
partner.
Okay.
And I was just getting back at her.
So-
She said the same, she said it first.
Yeah, my understanding is that, as with any business, we hire a business to do something and they
Yeah.
select their employee to
Yeah.
help us. I don't know if we have
Yeah.
the liberty to specifically say, if we stay with you, we only want to work with this person. I don't know if that's an option.
Well, you never know until you ask.
Right, so.
no, but the part of the challenge is,
Yeah.
Hank, the service that we've received thus far on the really truly important things has been subpar. And that's been the reason why we decided to start looking for a new lawyer.
I heard that before in the last meeting, I heard
Yeah.
that, right.
So that, I mean,
But,
even
uh,
though the one lawyer has been doing a great job with the
Yeah.
collections and he's
Yeah.
after it, as a whole, this law firm has failed to deliver on some of the most important things that we've hired them for, which is why we've decided to find a new attorney.
Right.
So,
And then thinking about it, I worry if they did say, oh, sure, you can have so-and-so, well, what if he quits? Or what if he resigns, something happens and we're still in contract with that lawyer? I don't know if there's a certain time limit or
Well,
something.
they also have different departments, like
Yeah.
certain attorneys handle certain things, so we certainly don't want one who's not,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, they have to
what we
be
need.
savvy on
Yeah.
condominium.
Mhm.
yeah.
Sure,
So
yeah.
that's where we're sitting with that. All right, can I move on to the next item?
Yep.
Consideration of fencing proposals along 63rd. Megan, I think you and Nancy were kind of looking into some of that.
Yes, I believe I got one quote, but that
So
was
did I.
that was not a good quote. I don't think it wasn't.
Apples to apples?
Yeah, it wasn't anything interesting. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Last I heard about it, there was concern about spending money in that area because of all of the other things.
The
So
budget
yes,
stuff,
because
yeah.
of the budget thing. So
Yeah.
I halted on that. Other than having that one company come out to give an estimate.
So should we defer?
I was just gonna say, why don't we defer it until after the budget is done? Because we'll meet with Laura and Fiona, Tuesday, and then, we'll schedule that workshop and.
Yeah.
I'd like to suggest that we defer it maybe a little bit longer than that, for the reason that at the last meeting that we discussed this, there was a lot of concern from not only board members, but from folks who live here, that, they wanted the fences to look the same, all the way around. And right now, we've got different stuff, and once 59th goes in, we're gonna have different stuff again. So I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be a better plan to just wait until we've got that kind of work done before we decide what we're gonna put up and where.
All right, well, we can defer it, for whenever we need to bring it up again, once we've got things settled a little bit better, so.
Cause that'll be a couple years, and what I heard last, and I think it might have been in an article that, Charlie may have sent out, that the county is running low on funds, and it may be delayed.
Yeah,
The work on
Kelsey.
59th may
Yeah.
be delayed.
Yep, yep, so we can defer it,
So-
and we can just decide when we wanna bring it back up. So
It
is there
could be a
a
few
second,
years.
or is there a motion to defer?
Defer indefinitely is what we're
Indefinite,
gonna do.
yeah.
I'll make the second. motion or make a second, one of the two. Whatever you need.
We'll
We're
take it.
covered. All right, so those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Any opposed?
So no point in my making a comment on that?
We've deferred it.
No,
Wait till
it's-
wait till
it's gone for a while.
Wait until you see it on the agenda.
It's gone for a while.
Well, if my point made any difference, you might want to defer it forever.
We're
We
we're
just did.
deferring
We
it
just
indefinitely.
deferred it
kinda did.
indefinitely.
Indefinitely, so it's not gonna come up again
Well,
for.
okay, but we can get into this stuff later.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
have.
All right, new business.
Make the place look better.
Okay, consideration of owner request for camera installation. Board members, you have the information in your packet sent by Janet. Do we need to read all those?
No, I just was reminding you of it.
Okay.
And so, the issues, I don't know how the light got there, I don't know if that person had permission, I have no idea. Your owners, it is in your documents, they should not be putting anything in the outside of the building ever,
Without
ever.
approval?
Well, without approval,
Yeah.
and if you give approval, it needs to be very specific approval. Like for the purpose of this, in this area, to a depth of this, it must be filled, you know, have a professional contractor or the association's contractor fill the hole and seal, you know, the stucco, etc. Whatever you do, you want to do it so specific that when the next person comes along and wants to put a bird feeder on the outside, they can't. With this particular item, this individual is asking for two things that I would advise against. One, he's asking for putting it on his own system, which you would have access to the video that he would provide, but you would not be able to log in and access the camera. And two, he wants some money to help with it. And I don't know that under those conditions, the board wants to open that can of worms. So that's your discussion. How about it?
My thought is, and I know we haven't priced it out, but, and I know we have some issues going on that side. It is not expensive to put a Ring camera outside of, you know, with permission to get one of the HOAs, you know, the communities, a couple on each 4 points or something of the thing, I think would be nominal. We don't have to do anything state of the art where we have another security system overseeing it. It's simply just monitoring, and if something happens, for example, if someone's car gets stolen or something like that, and it happens to be in that area, we have the ability to look it up. I think that would be the smartest thing, because yeah, it just doesn't make sense when an owner, I mean, I appreciate the offer, because I think the owner is trying to help our community by giving us access if something happens, but I think it's just slippery slope, because, again, what if we suspect something happens and he doesn't, and then, you know, then it's like, well, we can't do anything anyway, so.
Well, I was just gonna say, pretend I'm an owner for a minute, and Laura, it's Laura that wants to put it up, so you guys say yes, whether you give her money or not to help. You say yes, she's in control of it, because it's your personal ring, you know, you gotta log into it, right?
Yeah.
What if I wanna look at it, just to look at it, maybe I just wanna be nosy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Where's my 176 of that? You know, the board doesn't have access, and the board could say, we're not granting access, you know, the board can say, you know, you all can't log in and see the security cameras all the time, the board can see it. If you need something, let us know.
Yeah.
But it's not the board's.
Yeah, yeah,
One
I mean,
owner
I can tell
has-
you, I have
right.
cameras, not here, but at my other home, a single family home, I have cameras that we've, and I'm not suggesting this, but we've purchased off of Amazon for very affordable, and they work great for our purpose, you know, so I think if we want to move forward on that, knowing that our budget is not great, that's something that's not gonna make or break us one way or the other, it's a nominal cost, so that's my opinion.
For this particular owner, my suggestion would be, he hooks it into his own electric from within the unit, and he puts it inside a window that shines out. That outside spot needs to be left alone. I don't know whose spotlight that is or where it's hooked up, I don't remember I don't recommend tearing it down.
Yeah, yeah, it's just for anybody wondering, there's an existing light that's not working. I have no idea how long it's been there, it could have been there for years, I mean, I'm not privy to it, but it's been there, and
I
that's
don't
kind
know
of
if
how
anybody
this
can
was
see that, but
initiated.
it's like
Yeah.
up under the eave behind the air conditioners, somebody mounted it.
Yeah.
But it's hooked into that unit's electric, so we think previous owners.
Yeah, they might have wanted an extra spotlight for their parking, but haven't said that it's not permitted without permission, it's not supposed to be done. So yeah, so it sounds like we could approve it for the owner's purposes, but it has to be inside the building, inside the window, and
Which
then it
would
still
be
has the same
anyway.
effect. Yeah.
I don't know where 6350 is located.
It's over on the other side that faces 63rd.
Yeah.
Oh, it does face
Yeah.
63rd. How about what about the cameras that were going in to monitor the dumpsters?
Well, that was part of
Will they
it.
pick up some of that?
Yeah.
This is part, these things are, this is a separate discussion on that. That
Okay.
piece is something that, we're in a holding pattern on that until we get through budget,
Oh, okay.
so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think, again, several, the owners, part of cluster 2, am I going to say that? Okay. And so the owner is aware of the ongoing security issues that we have voiced on that side. And I guess knowing that we have experienced those issues, and I guess him realizing he needed to replace it, that's how this all came about. Is he requested, if we were interested in assisting with him installing this. So that's the decision at hand, and it sounds like,
And it would cover close to that dumpster.
yeah, oh yeah,
right?
he's right there, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a
Would it
good
ring
spot for
doorbell?
one, it's just.
Would it
Yeah, I mean, well, for example, I live all the way in the back.
No, Ring doorbell has like this.
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
And it only catches it in like, well, depending on how you set it up, but it only catches increments. So for example, if a car drives by, it'll catch that, but if another car drives by, like within 30 seconds, it might not catch that if it goes off. And again, there's varying systems. I have one, but as an example, there's so much foot traffic back there.
Yeah.
My battery dies like really quick compared to my other place,
It would
because
have to
it's
be wired.
constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So yeah.
They do make, solar ones now.
Mm-hmm.
If the board wanted to purchase the ring floodlights with a solar panel and mount them on the exterior of a building, and the board had access to that ring camera, that would be different than this
Yeah.
situation.
And that's what I think, in other words, that's kind of what I was saying early on, like, and I know we're not in a situation maybe to look at it now, but either way, I think it would be a nominal cost. We're talking the amount it would costed us to be able to zoom out to everyone that aren't attending. It's not gonna be anything huge.
I have two things with this whole situation. Number one, I don't really have a concern with him putting a camera up, right? I do think that if he wants to install a camera, he is the one who's responsible for paying for the installation and the process. Especially if he is the only one who has access to that camera. I will ask Jim Mack, who's in the audience, who has cameras, whether or not we paid for him to install those cameras when you had them put in.
No.
No. So you have an owner who has his own camera set up, he's got the feed. I do not think that the association should have to pay for this gentleman to install a camera replacing a floodlight. It's his decision to do that. While yes, there's a benefit to the community, there is currently no camera there. It is, an inoperable light. I don't think that we should get in the habit of paying for a unit owner to have something installed that he's the only person that has access to it.
Right.
Period.
Yeah, I like the alternative
Well,
of going.
even if he's not the only, he's under control of the access.
Yeah, and I think the perfect
Yeah.
solution is he can put that up inside his house, and again, maybe where that is, maybe fast forward several months when we are in a better place, that we might be able to stick one of those up where the association as a whole has access, and that way, even if owners want to see, like owners can report stuff like, hey, I saw something funny going on last night, and then we have the ability to look it up and check on what's
Any
going on.
board member.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only thing.
Yeah.
Jim?
I'd like to mention that the Ring works off of your internet or your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So it only works within the region of your
Your Wi-Fi.
own little house.
Yeah.
Anything further, no one can talk to it or see it.
Yeah.
It does chew up batteries. I'm well aware of that because I basically took stock in the batteries. But they do now offer the same cameras, more modern, they're newer, but with solar. So that
Yeah,
would
that's what you're saying.
stop the whole idea of batteries.
Yeah.
And then because it's on his network, You can't give it to somebody. You can't just say, let me check on his, and he lives over there, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the internet piece would be a
Yeah.
problem we'd have to solve, if we do it in the future for the HOA.
Well, I can see mine wherever I go. I mean, I've been in other
Yes.
states and looked.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I mean, my understanding
Yeah.
is, what you're saying, if we put
Look
a,
at
hooked a
somebody
camera
else's.
up, where would the internet be
Look at
coming
somebody
from?
else's, yeah.
Is what he's saying, that's my understanding, right?
Y-
Like,
yes.
if we put a solar one up.
I
yeah.
do have an association that has, they ran their own street lights, you know, the pretty, what do they call them, the carriage lights or whatever. So every house that has the street light, we ran the electric to their panel, and they get $5 a month or something lower. Those that have 2 street lights, because they're on a corner, get $10 a month. And so, there was a formula to it, what the electricity was, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the board could consider that, installing some of these and giving a tiny amount of money back to the owners who are providing consistent internet service. But if you're gonna do that, you do wanna look at some other spots for like, it's not just this, we're not gonna make exception for one.
Right, right.
If you wanna put it, you know, around the community.
Yeah, that's a good point that you brought up, so that's something I will wanna investigate, because I don't know what options we have with the internet piece, because again, I'm thinking, well, I live over there, but then we go back to one owner providing internet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So for now.
I'm gonna move, can I make a motion to allow him to install it at his own expense with the existing fixture?
I believe, my understanding was, we're not supposed to approve anything on the outside of a building, definitely not high up in the building, so that happened without our approval at some point way beyond my time, I know that part. So it sounds like the happy medium is to approve it, but he needs to put it within his structure, so like maybe in a window, so that he can do it,
I
right?
mean, you could,
Yeah,
but Hank wants to put one up tomorrow, you have to approve his.
Right.
And we're talking about floodlights here, it's not just a ring camera. And
Oh,
then
that's
Jim
right,
wants one,
yeah.
and then Fiona wants one, and I don't know everybody's names, but Susan wants one, Carol wants one. They're all over the place now.
Do we have anyone else that has floodlight cameras out? Do we have owners that have done that before, that have that out here already?
I do not have floodlights.
I
Is that a
think
floodlight, is
that
that a camera or just floodlights?
I think it's just a light,
I thought
because
it was just a light.
Jeff tried to put a new bulb in it, we tried
Oh.
to use it, I think it's just a light.
Just a
because
floodlight,
it's
it's
kinda
not an
dark
actual
on that
camera.
side.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
wants to take out the floodlights and put a camera in there.
With floodlights,
With
it's a
floodlights.
ring
So
camera
is the
floodlight.
resolution maybe for us to get, or us to fix the floodlight, put a new bulb in it, so that our owner doesn't have to worry about that for the safety of our community, and he can put his camera through his window?
We gotta have somebody come figure out whose electric it's running off.
Oh, that's right, so it's not,
We don't know.
we don't, okay.
Because Susan said they replaced the bulb, it didn't work, so it's not, I don't know what's
I
hooked up
think,
to it.
yeah, Jeff will be here tomorrow, we can talk to Megan.
Or is there a general area where we can just install it in a new
We still
location
have-
to provide more light?
We still have lights out.
Okay, so
Okay.
Charlie made a motion to allow him to install it at his cost and simply fill it in where the holes were there. Do we have a second on that? I second it. I second it.
I approve.
No.
Now vote on it.
No.
What are you saying again?
I'm saying that
We
he
don't have
can,
access then.
Yeah.
I understand
We're
that,
not
but we don't
approving the
have
camera.
access to Jim Max.
Wait,
Jim Max provides us the
Listen,
access.
He does provide us that access.
So-
Will that be the case here? I
This
mean,
is-
do we know that he'll give us the information if we need to see the recording?
He says he will. Here's the thing,
If you pay
when a motion doesn't just have to get put on the table when we're positive it's gonna pass. So Charlie made it, Laura seconded it, so it's out for vote now, so the
Yeah.
board can vote, it'll pass or fail depending on what you all want.
But we
What
allows
am-
us to
can
move
you
on.
clarify what I'm voting on, or what I'm voting on or against? Can you say it again,
Charlie,
Charlie?
say it again, please.
It's to allow him to install his camera and lights into the existing fixture. So, I mean, we've already got a hole in the wall there. It's an existing thing.
And it's coming from his energy source? Like he's paying the electricity?
Yes. Yes, totally at his expense, operating and installation.
And this has nothing to do with the camera as far as us, he's gonna have his own camera, it has nothing to do with us, we're just not doing anything with that. Okay, got it.
Yep, you're not, I mean, if you would offer access, that's fine, but if he doesn't, that's fine too.
Okay. Then, yes, I vote yes.
All those in
And we
favor?
have to ask for everybody to vote.
All those in favor?
You already did.
Say aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Anybody opposed?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, well, the ayes have it.
Nancy's the only one opposed?
Yep.
Okay.
I think that the light fixture should be replaced.
But it's not ours, that's the
I
problem.
know, that is,
Yeah.
it's on your building though.
Well, that's what I'm saying, can we
Oh,
install a
that
light for
comes
the
ours.
community?
Megan, it is yours. It's on the exterior of the building and it's
It
not hooked up
belongs
to
to
anybody's
Clifford
unit,
too
it's
now.
ours.
But my understanding is we can't
I
do
don't know who
anything
put
with
it
it
there.
because we don't have access to the electricity, right?
Yep, that's the owner, the prior owner and director, okay, Don Novick, put that on the building.
Oh, okay.
Oh dear lord, okay.
Okay.
Alright.
All right, so he will be allowed to replace it with a camera, but he will be responsible for all costs associated with it.
All right.
All right, consideration of new insurance agency. This is simply, we just need the votes to ratify the decision to move forward with PCS Insurance. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor say pro, or aye, sorry.
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Okay, it's passed.
PCS?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And I will tell you, he has already started working. And today we got an email from the existing insurance broker, the previous one, saying that he was astounded when he reached out to start the process for us, that he's no longer the insurance agent. And I thought, well, you're just starting it now? So generous of you. All right. Moving on to discussion regarding updates to the rules and regulations.
I want to clarify something because this is a sticky thing with the statute. So we are going over recommendations to change the rules and regulations. This is discussion purposes only. You can agree on the language, and then what we need to do is mail it out at least 14 days in advance to all the owners, along with the agenda at the meeting of the board where you're going to adopt the new rules. And then we will send them all out, the final copy.
Okay.
So this is simply, discussion and what language we want to change, so.
Okay. All right, so all of the board members have the current rules and regulations.
Did they fix the air in here
The
today?
air is fixed.
I
Jim,
turned it up to 75.
Jim,
Is that-
it was down to like 70. We need to turn it down. It is not about you, Nancy. Jim,
No,
would you
but
mind
it's
lowering?
freezing in here.
It is
Somebody's
not.
having special feelings.
It is not.
You wanted it for
It is
70.
not. There are bodies in here. We need it
You
pink
made me
enough.
laugh.
So come with a sweater next time. I did.
I did.
There you go.
Next
Put it
time
on.
I'll bring my parka.
It is hot in here, so.
Well, last time the
Right.
heat made me sick with a migraine, so I'll take this.
I'm just sitting over here, I'm melting, I'm
Oh.
sleeping, melting.
All right, so,
Where was cold? I turned it up to
So how are we
slow
doing this? Are
cooker.
we just gonna do it by the?
I mean, seriously, let's just sweat it here. It's hot. We don't need people getting sick, so. There's a reason we had.
Incubator.
Actually, I forgot, can we share the update on the air conditioner quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to share an update with on the air conditioner because, I'm actually quite proud in this moment in time. So,
Because of a CNS mistake,
it was a
Hank,
CNS
so.
mistake. It was completely Jennifer's mistake, not Janet's. So, we had reached out to find out what was going on with the air conditioner. And then on Tuesday, right, Tuesday, yep, Janet let me know that the air conditioning company was coming out. So I came over to let him in, and it was the first company that came out to diagnose the problem. And he goes walking in, and I thought he looked familiar, but I was like, whatever, I don't know really what's happening. And he's like, oh, am I out to, is it the same unit as before? And I stopped and I looked at him and I said, well, no, we're replacing the unit entirely. And I said, but we're not, we went with another vendor. And he's like, oh, you did? And I said, yeah, we went with another vendor because you guys were much more expensive than the other vendor we went with. And he goes, well, how much did we quote you? And I said, you quoted me $10,000 to replace the air conditioner. And he's like, would you allow me to rebid? And I said, sure, whatever, go for it. So he reran the numbers and came in at $8,200. The bid we went with was $8,895, I believe. So I contacted Janet and I said, hey, here's what's going on. She confirmed that we hadn't signed anything with the previous vendor and that we could, in fact, as long as the previous vendor hadn't ordered anything yet, we could switch. So I was talking to Janet. Janet was referring to her assistant to contact this company, and while this whole conversation was occurring, the owner of this company called me and just said, hey, you've had this person out, I want to sweeten the deal. And I said, oh yeah, what's that? And she said, I want to add in a year-long of service to the air conditioning unit, as well as 24/7 service for the next year at no cost. I said, oh, well that's fantastic because we decided to go with you. Have they not contacted you yet? And she goes, oh, you did? Okay.
As she pulls her foot out of her mouth.
She sweetened the deal and we got essentially $1,000 worth of service at no cost. And so we actually ended up saving about $1,700 by moving forward with this.
What's the name of the company that we?
Air Serve, it's AIRE Serve. So that, I just wanted to give you all an update since that's kind of been, we got it in, and they actually were able to install it yesterday and today. So the system is in.
Nice job.
And I was just like, well, that's great, they're gonna provide me to sweeten that deal, I will take it.
It was the Richard Turner. I told Jennifer to call him and she called Air Serv by
Yeah.
accident and they came
They
right
came
out.
out and we got a better deal.
That's
So
fine.
we saved about $1,700 in the process. So good news for us. Yay, Pebble Spring! All
Good
right.
job.
Could we mention anything about group service?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm gonna reach out to the owner as well, is I wanna find out whether or not they will, if we reach out to our owners and ask if they would like to participate in a service of the air conditioning unit in their unit, whether or not if we can get a volume discount by saying we have this many units on the property that would like their air conditioner serviced, what would you charge us per unit? So I wanna find that out because I think that if we can get, we might as well use our collective bargaining skills at 176 owners to reduce the rates whenever we can. This is something that I'm not doing, anytime soon. It's just something I want to put out there as, I think, something that's worth us exploring to see if we can save our owners. So maybe in the next newsletter, I'll put that out there as a question of anybody interested, so people can say yes or no, and then we can kind of get an idea. If we do it twice a year, I know the CNS recommendation in the rules is once a year, but nonetheless, I'm putting that out there. It's probably something that we'll bring up in the newsletter, but anyways, I'm sorry, I went off topic and off the agenda. So we're back to the rules and regulations. So I'm looking at the rules, and I believe, there's some of these on each table. Are these circled?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No.
Are these circled spots the things that you want us to call our attention to?
No, those were the ones that I already found.
Okay, so like the use of units and then the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah, it's 1L, that's all. I just
Oh,
circled it
okay.
because it's 1L instead of 11.
I just wanted to ask about this. I don't disagree with the times at all. I just noticed when I was lounging at the pool the other day that all the signs say from like dawn to dusk. So would we want that language in there? I'm just asking because that's what the sign's saying. Because I know that changes,
Well,
like,
this is in the pool. This
That's
is,
just in the
this
units.
piece is for
That's
the units.
for the units, okay.
So if you have somebody who lives above you or below you and they're deciding to throw a rager at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Got
they
it.
are not allowed to do that and you can call the police, type of thing. So it's basically being, a good neighbor.
Yeah, I don't see anything on that first page that, until, I didn't get down to leasing the
Okay.
units, but that's just all introductory stuff, and I don't think any of it's inaccurate
Okay.
or has changed.
I just noticed it when I was standing there, sitting there, looking at
And
the
you
sign.
see that this is per Manatee County Code of Ordinances, so,
That's what I was looking, is it not 10 p.m. or is it definitely 11 p.m.? I thought it was 10 p.m.
Well, that's good question, since there's a typo there.
I'm looking
Anyone
it
know
up
what the
now, yeah.
noise ordinance is?
Charlie, do you know what the noise ordinance hours are?
Manatee County noise.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah, for sure, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's not a 1, it's a
Should be
0,
a
0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only commercial establishments that are till 11.
Later, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so move on to section 2, leasing of units. Alright.
There's not really anything in here that you can change,
I mean,
but.
I'm just saying.
Do
You
you
wanna
know?
put in a row, 2 months in a row?
Consecutive, you mean?
Remember when that came
Or
up
not.
with me?
No, because the answer is no, because we got an attorney opinion with you.
Okay, well, that's why I'm
So-
asking the language, just to
Yeah.
be clear, is what I'm saying.
So, and this came up at one of my other condos, so it's not to prohibit you from renting your unit, like if you wanna rent it for a month, you can rent it for a month. We don't care if they leave after 30 days, but you can't put anybody else in there for the entire 60.
Right.
So, we don't care if they come for 5 days and leave. You
Yeah.
can't put anybody else in
Yeah,
for that
no, I'm
entire
not
60.
disagreeing, I'm just saying, I didn't know if you should put
Yeah.
that in there to make it clear, because that was my thing, I'm like, it doesn't say that I
Yeah.
can't rent 2 different, you know what I mean, so.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? Because that makes no sense to
You're mandating, you can't rent it for a period of less than 2 months.
me. Right.
The idea behind that is so that you don't have a bunch of people coming in and out every week, every
Revolving
week.
Like an
door.
Airbnb.
A revolving
Right.
door.
Right. But as an owner, if you wanna